Hello guys, welcome back to 1878 Blues. Anthony Gordon has left Everton to join Newcastle United in a deal worth up to £45 million. Reports are saying it's £40, 40,000, 40,000. Oh my god, 40 million initially, and then 5 million in add-ons. It's been a weird it's been a horrendous week for Everton Football Club, but in the past, since Anthony Gordon didn't turn up for his first day of training till now, I've had so many different emotions and feelings and opinions on the matter. It's swinging and roundabouts. Don't really know how to feel about it, to be honest. I'm a bit like, there's a side of me of like, yeah, whatever, you're a rat. Out there, you're trying to force your way out of a club. Who do you think you are? You This season you've been poor for the majority of it, basically all of it, apart from a few decent little goals at the start of the season. Um, you've really offered nothing. But in the other side of my football brain, I'm like, he's 21. He's playing in a squad which is just decimated, and but he's part of it. Like, you know what I mean? He hasn't done himself any favours, but it's just been horrendous, and the club's ran horrendously. The team is losing. Confidence is down, even though it might not look it when you see the pictures in training and whatnot. Um, and that could affect the player massively. But I understand why everyone said there was potential. I understand there's still a bit of a raw talent inside to him, which is ready to potentially. It's the big word that in it, potentially, or potential. So we're waiting for them to explode, and my only worry is now in me back of my head is that he'll just start playing brilliantly under Eddie Howe at Newcastle, and we're just looking again at it's Everton again. It's Everton. We can't bring the best out of anyone. Um, and this and that. And I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. I really wouldn't, because from what I've initially seen from Gordon, I've said to my dad for a while and a few of my mates, it's just I just don't see it in him. I just don't see it. Like, at first, when he obviously played for us, he was, I mean, he still is very skinny, very just doesn't seem to have the strength for the Premier League or just top flight football. Um, but at the same time, it just doesn't have skill to me. I just don't see any skill for a winger. I think that's missing a lot these days in, in wingers and footballers in general. I think there's a lot of skill missing from them. You don't get the old fashioned winger anymore who who takes you to the bar line, and um, they all just cut inside now, and they're kind of like a centre attacking midfielder now, but they're just drifting out either side of the pitch. Um, but I just didn't see anything from him, and a lot of his goals, well, not many. I think he scored 7. I've just been like tap-ins or deflections. Like, he had them 2 good goals at the start of the season against Leeds and Brentford. Finished well. 1-1, which is not easy to do. We got likes of Dominic Calvert-Lewin who can't finish a 1-1 for his life. Um, so at the start of the season, I was going, "Oh, there's a little bit of something here." He's getting goals, which he got the number 10 shirt, and he promised he'll get more goals and assists and whatnot. This is his season, blah blah blah. Um, which is now a load of shit, like, because he wasn't that bothered about us, because he even said in his interview that once Newcastle went in for him in the summer, he just thought, that's the club I want to be at. I mean, that's just not great today. And if he didn't make that, um, if he did not make that well known at the club and with Lampard in charge, then it's a shocking decision by the club to keep him in the summer. Now, obviously, there's this big argument in football over the past, I'll say, 10 to 12 years a lot of player powers coming in now, these agents and whatnot, and it's never really, no one's too big for the club, but I'm saying like they never used to have players make their own minds up of where they want to go, you know what I mean? It was up to the club, and now players are like forcing themselves out of moves. You know, he missed free training sessions. He's just, I mean, there's reports of Conor Cody slapping him. There's a lot. There's a lot where players tries to get them out of the club. You know, you've seen it with Cristiano Ronaldo. You've seen it recently with Casado for Brighton. You know, actually putting out a statement. It's crazy. Um, but yeah, should have went to me. It should have went, in my opinion. I think you got to get a kind of feeling at a club that you need unity and players who want to actually play for this club and they're just not here for a little step up. I mean, Anthony Gordon claims that he loves his club in his statements, and you know it's been his dream and all this stuff. I mean, I've been told many a times he's a Liverpool fan. Um, I mean, you don't know because you've seen over the years where Liverpool fans like Gerrard, Fowler, Rush have changed into or turned into a red after supporting Everton in their childhood. So maybe Anthony Gordon is a blue now, but um, I just, regardless, I get football is a short career. Some people have it more um, and have it going on longer. Um, I've gone on longer, so I can understand players don't get like they get a lot of money, and like people like me, I would probably never see that type of money they get every week. But um, yeah, they're greedy to be honest, but they want to make as much money as they can before they retire, and then do whatever they do after it because they're never going to get the same type of money again in that kind of field unless they open themselves a business after they retire or whatnot. So they try and make the most of it, and I think a lot of them take advantage of that now. Anthony Gordon's obviously getting a pay rise at Newcastle United. He has the chance to play in Europe and all this kind of stuff. Where I just think if you believed in yourself a lot more, and you've got to be ready, I feel to make a next step like that. I think that's acceptable then. You know, in a few years, if he really established himself, he hasn't really, to me, established himself at all at Everton. I still think he's very much. If he had that old team back in 2014, Anthony Gordon would not be in the first team at all. And even that 2014 team wasn't great, but we had better players. Morales will get ahead of him. A lot of players in the past will get ahead of him. Um, the one thing we are missing, even though he really hasn't utilised it as much, is his pace. So I'm hoping we can get someone in with pace and a bit of an end product as well, or a bit more of an established player. But he just couldn't do anything really, Anthony Gordon. I mean, he done the odd assist from the corner. His free kicks were dreadful. Um, yeah, and just his impact in the game is a joke. And I just think a lot of Everton fans noticed over time that he just started to get a bit arrogant, thinking he was mad on the pitch. Like he can have arguments with everyone, be dead aggressive. But he did nothing in the game and diving about as well. That just started coming into play this season, especially. Actually, no, like the end of last season around, like especially like there's a few games where I was just like, mate, what are you doing? What are you doing? Um, it's part of the game now. I get it, but like you need to start doing more with your feet and actually doing more things with the ball than just hoping for something through a player's fault or whatnot, or just trying to cheat your way and get into something. It's not a good look, and especially when you're 20 to 21 years old doing that, it's showing the lack of skill and belief you have in yourself that you have to start doing stuff like that or involving that kind of stuff in your game. Um, so yeah, in terms of player, we're losing. I'm really not that bothered. A bit, it does feel like a beta kind of Rooney situation, um, or Ross Barkley situation, and in a sense, I don't really want to hate on anyone, and So yeah, I hope they have the worst career ever. But what I really want from it is that he plays in Newcastle, blah blah blah, and we hopefully it won't happen, but you just never know in football. After Leicester winning the league, I believe in anything now, but we become better than Newcastle, or we're competing again, and then he wants to come back to Goodison Park, or if things are falling out of favour for him at Newcastle, or they're buying better quality players, and he's playing all right for Newcastle, but he's become a squad player. Um, that will make me laugh if he tries to get a move back to Everton. It will make me laugh. And we've seen a lot of players who've left Everton over the years who have failed. Dan Gosling, Ross Barkley, Jack Rodwell, um, and yeah, obviously now I think there's a few other players as well. But um, the only real player I can think of who really made an impact once he left Everton, really, is Wayne Rooney. Lukaku failed, done well at Inter, but I mean it's an easier league than I would say the Premier League is. Uh, but yeah, that's it now, and I don't I didn't really. I read the statements. You know, a lot of things you have to say. Don't want you thinking bad of me, Everton fans. I did what I had to do. All this crap. This I love the club. All this all this nonsense I don't believe in, to be honest. I think you don't just try and force. If you really loved your boyhood club, you would not force yourself out of the club. You accept it and you'll prove yourself why you shouldn't be at this club if the club's still in a state as it is and not competing for things. Then you proved yourself that you should deserve an opportunity. There's been players for us in the past where the fans gone, they've left the club and you go, you know what, they deserve a better move. They deserve a better club at the moment. They deserve to be fighting for things and competing. You know, I'm thinking of like Pickford's made the odd mistake this season, but Pickford to me should be at a better club. I'm sorry. And I wouldn't blame Pickford for ever leaving. I'm surprised he hasn't gone already, to be honest. Ever since he is really kind of consolidated England's number one spot for goalkeeping, like I'm surprised sometimes when stuff like that happens. A big team comes calling in. I don't think anyone's put too much pressure on Pickford coming in for Pickford, and I think once that happens, I think he will leave. But yeah, right now, for Everton, love to take 100 years to do anything. You might say, "Oh, counteract that." Well, we don't want to rush things because we always make the wrong decisions. But yeah, it's just I don't know why it's taking this long to get Sean Dyche through the door and signed and official and all this kind of stuff. Don't understand. Maybe they're trying to do some promotional thing where they bring Dyche in and they bring a few players with them and they have this big advert about it and look at us making a big statement. Maybe that's part of it. But I'd rather him just get dotted down the line. If he is already, just announce it. I think Everton needs some good news or some sort of news, slightly positive news, um, because it's just been the worst 2 weeks I've ever seen at this club. How I've never felt so low about this club. Um, but yeah, we need players in. We need players in because We've lost one now. He was a first 11 player. Um, and we need to replace. You can't just not replace them. I'm not saying Gordon was. I've already stated what I thought about Gordon, so it's not even the fact we just need to replace him because he had an impact on the team. He didn't have much, but he still had something better than what we have in our reserves or whatnot. Even though it wasn't much to shout about, but we need to find replacements. Andros Townsend's coming back soon. Very different option, but he's not going to change the whole team around. But I'd hope he'll come in and play brilliantly and just give a different kind of dimension to this squad. Obviously, we don't know if Dyche is going to play. I'm going to get more into that with Dyche once we finally make the appointments. Um, but yeah, it's been a weird day. Obviously, expected him to sign today or at some point this weekend or this next week. But yeah, it's gone to Newcastle. Um, God help him when he comes back to Goodison in April playing against us. He's not going to get a good reception at all. And yeah, Everton, please just start buying some players or just get some. Or just I don't even know. Just need to feel a bit more positive when Tuesday deadline hits. I just want to feel a lot better about what's gone on. Um, but this could be a very good deal for Everton with Anthony Gordon. It could be it just could not play out well for us. But at this moment of time, we need the money, and players like him who don't want to be there, thinks he's better than what he is, hasn't proven much to me, got that potential sign or label on him. It's just not what we need right now for Everton. I think we need players to make an impact now. Um, but yeah, I'm off and out. Next video will be Daesh and potentially a signing. Who knows? But I'll speak to you soon.